Four Bastards podcast. Hope everyone's doing good on this great Sunday afternoon, night, whatever the fuck time it is. I don't know. So let's just go ahead and get through introductions. My name's Smitty. I am one of the original founders of the podcast. Well, all four of us are. I don't know why I added that shit. That's not important at all. So tonight we're going to hit a whole bunch of stuff. Everything from bump stocks to Pyramid Massacre in Vegas. Possibly some Peruvian mummies. Just a whole bunch of stuff we want to get through. So let's go ahead and kick it over to Llama so that way he can tell you a little bit about himself.
Welcome everybody to the Four Bastards podcast. I'm Llama. It's glad to have everybody here. There's not much to really add other than everybody likes to make fun of me for being from New York. And I think I'm pretty based and conservative, so that kind of saves me a little bit. I'll kick it off to Panda or Tiller.
What's up, guys? It's Panda. Don't have the cam on today, but you get to listen to my lovely voice. And yeah, happy to be here. Let's kick it off. Tiller, what's up?
What's up? I hope especially everyone over on YouTube's having a wonderful faggot month. How are we all doing here on...
Don't forget that part.
What do you guys think of the snowball effect from that? All people like to say that all of this like tranny thing and all this LGBTQ thing is all a direct result of Obama legalizing gay marriage. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, fun fact to add to that is Trump is the first president, I know you guys know, but first president to enter office pro-gay.
Yes, and
even had trans fans.
He's the first president. He's the first pro-gay president to be pro-gay before he became president. Obama was.
Let's
go ahead.
Let's go back to the original question, though. Did Obama sanctioning gay marriage open the floodgates for a lot of this stuff? Yes. What I like to tell my friends
one of several, floodgates. Yeah.
But what I like to tell my friends is that you need progressive people because that's how you move a civilization forward. But you also need the conservatives because that's what keeps the civilization safe and within healthy bounds.
Yes.
And I feel like whenever you start giving the progressives more power, more influence over the conservatives, the progressives, they're not there. I mean, it's in the name. They don't conserve. They want to move forward. So they just need to slow down and start looking at the shit that's happening. So yeah, do I think gay marriage was one of the floodgates? Yes, I think it was. Yeah. Once you start making something completely okay and you justify it and you make it everyone in the country okay with it, then you're also justifying the evils that are tied to it. And I don't think we understood how far these people were willing to take it once we gave them that end. They wanted more than that. They wanted miles. And then it morphed into this whole tranny thing, and then, we're coming for you.
I do got to comment on one thing you said on the whole these people thing. We do got to acknowledge that it was maybe like one person in the 80s was like, hey, I want to have a boyfriend.
And then it morphed into this
man.
tranny thing,
I'll
and then,
we're coming for you. You got to comment on one thing you said on the whole talk about how in love with my boyfriend is to my friends. And then someone in the early 2000s was like, I want to get married to my boyfriend. And then someone in the not too long after was like, I want to tell your children about how I'm married to my boyfriend. And then it went very wild from there.
No, that's not necessarily true. That's how it happened in our country, but whenever you look at the history...
A whole month when we can't even get a whole month dedicated to the military.
So you know why this is such a modern issue for Americans and it's not a modern issue for a lot of Europeans? Because Europeans have been dealing with none of this is new to them. This is all very new to us because we're only like what 200, not even 300 years old as a country, and we're still we were established by macho men, by people who were actually fucking living on the outskirts of society. So you had to be tougher, you had to be a little bit rougher around the edges. You probably didn't have a lot of time to be soft and think about, progressive, things like
all day.
Yeah, you didn't have time for that shit. You were fucking that. And then what happened? Our country got to the point to where we could stand on our own. We could get soft. We're going through what the Romans went through. I mean, at the end of the Roman era, everyone got fat, and that's exactly where we're going. We're sexualizing everything. We're getting fat. We're getting soft.
What's
So yeah, it's new. It's new to us and everything, but we're gonna go. I feel like we just have to grow through it too. As
Panda, did you have something to say about?
Yeah, if you don't mind. No, so Smitty, I think you're absolutely correct. With regard to how the past 200, 200 to 300 years since the founding of our nation, our population has been focused on different things, right? We've been, it used to, you come here and as soon as you get here, there was no social welfare and stuff like that. It was, it was the frontier and
work.
Yeah, and you had to work. You had to work for everything. You didn't have time to be thinking about all this other, nonsense and shit like that, right? And to a degree, you're absolutely right with, our society has gotten to a point where everything is so easy, and whether people like to believe it or not, I mean, everybody in the United States lives in a state of luxury compared to others in the world. And
It's something that we're able to fucking find time for when people in third world countries are more worried about eating.
Right, but I wanted to mention, like, what kind of go back to what you said about progressives. You're right. So I look at it kind of like a rubber band, right? And progressives keep stretching that, or keep pulling that rubber band. Every once in a while, the majority of society, or conservatives, right, put them in check, and it's like, okay, we got to slack back a little bit. But that rubber band has already been stretched to a certain point where it's going to retract some, but it's not going to go back to its original size. Each time you stretch it, it's getting stretched out, right? So it goes out, it gets retracted. Well, now with the progressives, I mean, with the definition of progressives, exactly as you said it, Smitty. As soon as being gay became like socially acceptable, and that was okay, there is a norm of gay people are a norm and they are socially acceptable. Well, that wasn't the end goal for progressives. Progressives just want to keep progressing. So once that was established, okay, well, let's move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And then they take up a new cause, and this is just it seems to me like I don't think 100 years ago or 50 years ago they had the mindset of, progressives in general had the mindset of, hey, we're going to get to a point where we're transing the future generation, and they're going to mutilate their own bodies, and everybody's going to be okay. No, they didn't. No, they were focused on one thing. But once they reach that milestone and that becomes the social norm, then they move on to something else. And that's where, again, back with conservatives, it seems like everybody goes through cycles, and societies go through cycles where it's okay, everything is kind of fine. Yeah, we have some people talking about some craziness over here, but whatever, they're not really bothering me. And then okay, we're getting stretched out too much, and now it's up to society to say, hey, no, we're not ready for that. You know what I mean? And bring you back.
I was about to say, so some of those civilizations that like what we're talking about, that they pull the rubber band too far.
Yeah.
the ones that were able to turn things around were the ones that stood up and were like, "Hey,
correct,
you're done. Like we have to go back to what we were doing before." And it's all, we see it throughout history. And like the other thing is too, like a point I wanted to make. If all four of us got in a time machine today, went back 30 years, we would not be Republicans, guys. No, we would be Democrats.
Well, let me give my anarchist take on it real quick.
It would be anti-racist Democrats, which would be like crazy, but we would be Democrats.
We would be Democrats.
Let me give my anarchist take on it, because this might be a different perspective to you guys.
Yeah.
So the idea, so all these, I'm much more of an anarchist ideology. So I believe that all these systems that we have, like countries, governments, these are all things that we create. Police forces. At the end of the day, we're all people that we create these arbitrary, like these human conceived laws. These are not laws that are in nature. And we all agree to play the game, and like it is what it is. That's what citizenship is. But when it comes to like gay marriage, it's like before these nations and laws and all these things existed, it was a man and a woman that would profess their love for each other, their union for each other, and they would say, "This is before God," whatever. And it's gotten to the point where people that get married.
But real quick, I just want to finish up with I believe during the time of Obama, that's when I noticed it the most, is where the marriage, like your marriage used to be something before God, right? And the commitment between two individuals, and before God, and a commitment to each other. But what happened, especially what happened when during the Obama administration, if they said they just merged those two things of marriage as government view of marriage and what others viewed marriage as, a religious, sacrament, and they just merged those two things together. And I believe that's where a lot of disagreement, like if two guys are living together, and I don't have a problem with them receiving, a tax credit or what, a tax break or whatever, the same as me and my wife do. What I have a problem with, though, is you calling it, you calling it this religious, ceremony.
2 points, but the Tiller did mention, like he did say in the beginning of this conversation, he was like, "Listen, Donald Trump was the first president, the first president to be pro-gay before he came into office." So when we talk about like gay marriage being legalized, it was legalized under Obama, and when Obama came into office, you could look up his speeches about it. He was against. He's like, "We're not gonna do gay marriage. We're not gonna legalize it." And look what happened.
So do you guys remember
and then he would go home every...
the political gain, but like the next president that legalizes marijuana is going to do it for the bonus, for the brownie points, not because he's okay with marijuana.
Of course. Right. Otherwise, Bill Clinton would have fucking legalized it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, and I'm still waiting on Biden to pull that card. I think he's still going to do something like that before the end of his term, or before the end of this election cycle.
Well, they have been talking about legalizing fucking psychedelics.
Yep, but if you just pull it out of the hat and he just fucking makes it happen with a presidential order or something. Like, do you know how many fucking people...
Which he could, because drugs are classified under ATF, right? No, not the ATF, the DEA.
Yeah, so he has power over that.
Exactly.
That, and it's not a Class 1 restricted drug anymore. It's a Class 3, so now people actually think of it as, medicine. So, now, to me, they're positioning it to make it legal. Because first, the thing you have to do is you have to demonize it. You have to make it be seen as a medicine to everybody, not just the people using it.
You have to get rid of the stigma.
Yep. Then, once the stigma's gone, everyone's okay with it. You just come in and go, hey guys, nothing got worse. No one died because of the marijuana. We're just going to legalize it now because it's going to help more people, and then he's going to be seen as a fucking hero.
He ain't gonna win the presidency just for legalizing weed, though.
No, but it could move percentage points, I fucking guarantee you. And I don't want it to even be close.
I agree, but I don't think it would.
Taylor, why don't you tell us what's up with what's going on here in Grand Rapids?
So here in Grand Rapids,
we were hating on the church today.
Good news, everybody. There are some churches are in fact going to be leaving the Alphabet Mafia behind. And I've read through this kind of briefly. Like I think it says this particular one in the middle here. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there's my cursor. This particular one in the middle here is going to be keeping on with their sinful ways, but for the most part, I think several of them are deciding that that it is in fact a bad decision. And let's be honest, like there's for certain on the faggot's behalf, if you will, there's an argument to say, well, Jesus' people, the people he hung out with while he was a man here on earth, was sinners, and certainly Jesus would in fact bring a
I got a question for you. Do you think these people that are good churchgoers that are doing shit for the right reasons, or do you believe they're doing it out of kindness to incorporate those people to save them, or do you think it's like Jack Dorsey was saying the other day, how like Americans shouldn't be worried about freedom of choice, they should be worried about freedom of will, because a lot of people are being socially reprogrammed and they don't even know. So do you think it's a little bit of that? Like these people already have like a loving heart, so they're easier to like brainwash? Or do you think it's like, what do you think the issue, why they're doing it?
Why the congregation or the church or the churches, the establishments themselves?
Well, you see that there's a fine line. Like the church is its congregation. So, what do you think, why are the people in the church, the congregation itself, allowing the pastor and the deacons to plan shit out like this and okay it? Like,
I think they're misled. I think they're misled. I mean,
you don't think there's like any social reprogramming going on?
Yes, deliberately, like at best or worse, I guess, depending on your perspective, they're like lubricating the path towards it. Very intended.
Yeah.
If you're asking me, like, do I think like the like, for instance, the parents of these queer children, right, have malintent?
I mean, George Soros or Henry Kissinger himself.
No, one at a time.
Sorry.
I don't think they're doing it out of malintent. I think that they're reacting with trying to be understanding, but the problem is they have been programmed. They have been socially programmed and in what I call misled, right, into this false belief, and are taking actions that are actually outside of the faith, but they're doing it out of, I guess, goodwill, but they're still misled, and it's still wrong.
So I got one more question, then I'll leave you alone about this.
I know where you're going with it. Go ahead, hit me.
So if all these people of outstanding faith can fall for this, what is the normal person supposed to do? Like, if preachers and deacons and all these other people who are supposed to be men of God, have stellar backgrounds in their faith and everything, how are they swallowing this pill and then poisoning their congregation with it? Like, who's to blame? Like,
Satan.
It's I mean, it's a battle of good and evil.
I mean, it's really by the true word. It's the adversary. The best
so how do you
thing
fix
he
it?
could
Like,
possibly.
what's the next step moving forward? If like, do you vote to move your pastor out of the pulpit? Like, what do you...
Voting shouldn't be the answer because of the separation of church and state.
No. I'm talking about on a church level. Like on a church level.
Yeah, on a church level, you need to go to the head of the church and say this is obviously a sin.
You can't go to the head of the church because the head of the church is the one spewing this.
And if obviously they refuse, then you need to leave the church. Kind of a vote with your dollar situation, you know.
Well, if everyone leaves your church, if all the good people leave the church, it's going to fill up with the bad people that are okay with it.
This fortunately came from higher up.
Yes, the Pope is pro-LGBT. So if the Pope is pro-LGBT, it's going to be hard to convince everybody underneath him because he's the main man.
To answer your question, Smitty, I think, I'll just give a very quick anecdote. When I was growing up and I started attending our local church, it was a United Methodist church, and a month after I had started going to this church, the pastor got arrested. Pastor was probably a young guy in his 30s, probably, and he was arrested for molesting one of the male youth in our church. And I continued to go to this church for the next several years, and what you saw was, inside my house, my dad actually just confessed this to me not too long ago, that when that happened, he stopped going to the church. I continued because I was part of the youth group, and the guy was gone and whatever, but my father stopped going to the church, and my father has beat himself up for the past two decades because he brought us into because he could not see. He brought me into a situation that could have easily turned out to be me, right? And how could he not see that? And he felt like lost, and his faith has really been hit by that, right? And what I saw in the church was, instantly, almost overnight, 50% of the congregation was gone, and the next multiple years got spent, kind of rebuilding that church, and you saw people come, you saw people go, and honestly, what I pray that happens in these churches that you're talking about is that they fail, that people that know of genuine faith and that know, that see it for what it is, leave these churches, and you said they're just going to fill up with let all the demons, let all the evil people go to whatever and they'll fail eventually, because this isn't going to be. That's the only thing I can hope for. I'm
gonna play some devil advocate here.
Yes, sir.
With you. All the churches fail, and all the Christians run from them. Just church hop and go into the next church because one church isn't good enough.
Listen, God don't live in any churches.
Well, I know, I understand, but I agree with you, Llama. But a lot of people go to church because they don't see it like that. They think church is the
community.
Yeah. So it's like,
the answer to your question is you have some sort of dystopian scenario, and all of the churches now belong to Satan.
All I'm saying is
you're in a video game.
No, all I'm saying is it's. I think a lot of this wouldn't spread. I'm gonna go against you a little bit here, Panda. If people would stick to their communities and protect them more, your community wouldn't be destroyed. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
I feel like if this shit is going on inside your church, you need to fight That's the only point I was trying to make is like, because whenever people run from a church, yeah, that church fails and everything, but is that the best thing for a church to fail?
Right.
Or would it be easier for you to, or would it be easier for you to fucking cast out the people who are okay with it? I mean, in my mind's eye, the good people shouldn't be the ones beating the retreat ever. Evil should be the one that's running, not us. But why do we run?
In my personal opinion, I feel like all those churches that are deciding to keep the trans flag up, I think we should check their hard drives.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we should check everyone's hard drive. That's if you're anyone in the government or religion or like a religious capacity. Like you should have zero privacy.
Yeah, and I guess I was assuming. And I guess it really doesn't matter. But in the scenario that you were presenting with that church, I was thinking more along the lines of like the majority of the church is already in this, whatever. And like if I was to move to the area and hey, let me go check out this church, you know what I mean? I myself am not in a position to right this ship. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be something that I'm going to flee from, and I'm going to keep my family away from, and people that I interact with, I would talk about it in my community and stuff like that. But as far as inside the church, that's something. But if it's something that, I'm sorry, let me go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go. My bad.
If it's something like where the church that I was growing up in, and I've been with this church for 5-10 years, and then you start seeing things getting introduced, and you start seeing the changes, and you start seeing, let's call it, the evil creep in, then absolutely the people of these communities and stuff should be absolutely standing up and fighting against that, to preserve the sanctity of their religion, you know what I mean, and not letting these perverse forces, affect them or creep in. So yes, I see where you were coming from, Smitty, and I do agree. And it really depends on what the scenario is, but like some of these places, like the Presbyterian Church, I mean, God, they started. I mean, like 10 years ago, I saw, like, I can't remember the news, but it was something about LGBTQ and something to do with their pastors, like they were letting homosexual pastors in or something like that, and I immediately knew.
Presbyterian churches are big over here, especially in like the Asian community.
Oh, and that was, I knew right away. I was like, yeah, that is a denomination that I'm not even touching. You know what I'm saying? And even now, I won't go to a Baptist or a Methodist
LDS,
church.
baby.
I go to, go ahead.
And it's just like a lot of people want to talk about spiritual warfare, and then they don't even want to show up for the war. It's like,
right.
Come on, boys. Y'all just running. You're always supposed to confront evil, not run. I'm sorry, I'm getting off that high horse.
And when I also I want to clarify, when religious people tell gay people, listen, we don't hate you, we love you, we just don't like the things you do. Like, and gay people are like, oh, that's such an ass backwards thing to say. It's so hypocritical. Like, it's not. Imagine if your uncle was doing drugs. You love your uncle, but you don't want your uncle to die and do drugs. So
that is correct.
Right. That, and like, if you want to fall back on scripture too, I mean, God sees every sin in His eyes as the same sin. So if you're going up into the pearly,
done to die.
Yeah. So if you go to the pearly gates and you're saved, all that other stuff, and you go into heaven, and you're standing there, and you look behind you, and there's a fucking murderer behind you, and he tells you his life story. Well, his murder weighs the same as your white lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same sin as sin in God's eyes. The only sin that's above any other sin is taking His name in vain. And you can fall on scripture for that. So.
But it's. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I was gonna say is, like you're talking about in in the Bible, like, they'll say, oh well, Jesus brought homosexuals into his church or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, being welcome and treating people with respect, all of that, and loving all people is not the same as accepting and enabling their behaviors. You love them as a person, and you are trying to help them because you love them, to show them a better way. That's nowhere was God just accepting of sinners. You know what I mean? Just like, oh no, that's okay, guys. Like, no, it was. So people get that mixed up. You know what I mean?
Yep. You guys want to know what Jesus' favorite thing was in the world?
Wine.
Spit on that thing.
Yeah, that was perfect. No,
that was blasphemous.
I was gonna say bump stock.
Oh,
I heard.
Even.
And I heard we could.
Is correct.
We can get bump stocks again. If that's.
I was actually. It's funny because I'm looking up the. You guys want to move on to bump stocks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I actually am gonna have to hop off though. I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys later. You guys have fun.
Attila.
salami and
Don't do
bacon.
anything I wouldn't do, which really doesn't limit you to too much of anything other than.
I'm going to commit great crime. I'm going to bust nut in water tower.
Don't do that.
Alright, on that note, catch you guys later. Charming kiss.
Salami and bacon, my friend.
I mean, we already do shit that Tiller can't do, and that's hit the sides. But anyways,
That's it.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Now that we beat the LGBTQ to death, let's move on to what we can use for
yeah,
firearms.
we got a little fucking preachy there for a minute, boys.
So back in 2017, right? We had a mass shooting in Las Vegas, and as a result, Trump made an executive order to ban bump stocks. Now, bump stocks are essentially when you fire the weapon, it bumps and it uses the recoil as a way to bump off your shoulder so you could keep firing rounds. So
Which,
this was. Go ahead.
You can do the same thing with a belt and your finger, or even if you're even better than that, you can just fire up. There's all kinds of techniques to do it. Like, I don't even understand why bump stocks were ever illegal whenever you could do what a bump stock could do without the bump stock.
So then there you go. You don't know why they're illegal. That's exactly what the Supreme Court decided. On June 14th, the Supreme Court decided that bump stocks were... the banning of bump stocks was unconstitutional. Now, this was done in a... What was it? A 6 to 3? How many fucking Supreme Court justices are there?
Well, if there's 6 plus 3, that's 9.
Yeah, it's a 6. No, I don't know. I was just counting them. And I don't know if somebody was like dissenting or somebody didn't give an opinion or whatever. Yeah, but there was a 6-3 decision that struck down the Trump era ban on bump stocks.
So, you know what? Exactly what Panda said.
What?
Good.
Oh.
Good. Because if we can start repealing bans on equipment, that means we can start looking at stuff that was banned in the past and start working on legislation to get it lifted. There's just a bunch of stuff out there, like gun accessory-wise, that's illegal that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I think next should be the ATF's ban on pistol brace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, not only would it be unconstitutional, according to this ruling, not only would that be unconstitutional from a president, but from an agency, a 3-letter alphabet agency, just to make law and determine that this is now illegal.
None of us elected.
Who none of us exactly. Yes, that should be. That shouldn't even take a. I would say after this ruling from the Supreme Court, that should just be a freaking given that. Oh, and by the way, this is like we don't even need to have a whole drawn out thing about this because this is illegal 7 different ways from Sunday. You know.
Well, this is exactly what. So Clarence Thomas made the majority opinion, which was basically the ATF exceeded its statutory authority by issuing a rule that classifies a bump stock as a machine gun. And because this is supposed to be done under the legislative, not under the federal authority of the ATF.
Yep.
I mean,
I just say Clarence Thomas is my most favoriteest Supreme Court justice of all time.
Oh, he's the best.
I love him.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the oldest serving on. So the thing is, I always thought that Clarence Thomas was supposed to be the Chief Justice because he's the longest serving Supreme Court justice. But I found out that your time as a judge before the Supreme Court also counts. So, what's his name? Roberts.
Yeah, Justice Roberts.
Yeah, he's been a judge for a long time before he became the Supreme Court judge. So that's why he ended up having seniority over Clarence Thomas, even though Clarence Thomas is the currently oldest sitting and longest serving Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to get into the conspiracy about the fucking Vegas massacre.
Two reasons why, my number one reason that I have to get out of the house that I'm in now is because I'm on city water. I need to get back. I need to get back on a land where I have well water.
I'll build your well, bro.
And it kind of goes. It kind of goes to what I was telling you the other day, Panda. Like my poor is not someone else's poor. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Right.
If I'm broke, I may still be eating filet mignons and going on vacations. If you're broke, you may be eating ramen. Like, but I can guarantee you that person...
You guys heard about ramen, by the way? They have fucking carcinogenic fucking ingredients in it?
Yeah, we've known that it's been plastic for years, dude. But, fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Okay, yeah, I'm back. So...
Welcome back.
Like poor people aren't worried about the same people rich people are. Rich people have a set of problems that poor people can't even understand because they don't have the freedom to have those problems. Like,
you don't have the luxury to have, to have those problems.
Yeah, and I've come from fucking poverty and fought my way into probably the middle of the middle class, and my poor problems were not like, I would much rather have my problems that I'm having now. You know what I'm saying? The problems I'm having now, it's not groceries, it's not anything like that. It's all different shit. But it's like you have to graduate yourself to that level of having those problems at the same time.
What we're seeing with the economy and with the way things are going now is our kids, I mean... God, what's the path for our kids to get to that point? You know what I mean? Like,
so
they can't.
That's another thing I was going to say, or that I wanted to bring up. If you guys don't have property for now, like right fucking now, or the means to get it soon, your kids will be landless.
Nah, I think the market's gonna fucking crash like bad. Like houses that are going for 600,000, they're gonna be going for 200,000 in a couple of years.
Yeah, but whenever it crashes bad like that, you know who's buying it? Not us. Big major corporations just buy more. And the way that the housing economics are going now, we can have a housing bubble crash, and it would never affect. It would affect us, but it would never affect people like BlackRock. They would still buy as many houses as they're buying today. They might even start buying more if there's a crash.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because if you got to understand that there's two aspects to that, because BlackRock not only controls a bunch of REITs and stocks in real estate, but they also own a lot of real estate themselves. So when those markets crash, their equity is basically going to shit too.
No. They own the treasury, dude. They can just print more money. You don't understand. The only thing that's going to be worth a fuck is you actually owning land in the future. And if you don't have it now, or you get it soon, they will still own it, and they will never lose it, and they will never sell it. They're playing 3D chess about 200 years ahead of us right now. And their land, and their goal right now is land acquisition.
Dude, check it out. Like I was just thinking about this the other day, because I'm considering moving and stuff, right? But I was looking at it, and so down here in Florida, right, all of our home prices have soared, right? Okay, that means I have a little bit. I have
bullshit. Bullshit. Palm Beach is only worth $23 million. Bullshit.
Yeah, right, correct. Except for Palm Beach. Sorry.
$23 million.
Okay, I accept that.
Right.
Sorry, I only bought it for $2 million.
Yeah, but what also has happened is the interest rates have gone through. I have mine down at 1.9 that I got just a couple of years ago, and now you can't touch an interest rate, a home loan under 7. I think it's maybe 6.5.
8.4.
8.4. Okay. If the home prices don't come down, the only people that are going to be able to buy the properties are the wealthy, and including in the wealthy are corporations, right? Everybody else that is struggling, to survive day to day is not going to be able to buy my house, right?
And
so what happens is they're going to become forever renters somewhere else, and the only people that are going to be, and then anytime somebody goes to sell a house, the only people that are going to be able to afford it are the corporations. That's how and then they just slowly just keep acquiring that land because they're banking on the fact that.
Llama, let's say you own the land too, right? Well, you have to pay taxes on it every year. If your fucking property starts skyrocketing,
I got a solution.
This is happening to my grandpa right now. He has 40 something acres in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's like $25,000 an acre in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yep.
He is almost to the point where he's going to have to sell and move out here towards me in Oklahoma because he can't afford his property tax anymore.
Yep, and that's all subjective, right? You get people who own it completely outright, like not even have a mortgage. They own their property.
Like my grandpa, outright has owned it for 20-something fucking years, dude.
Correct. And they say, oh well, we say it's worth more now, so the taxes go up on it, and that's how you get people out of the. That's how you get people to sell.
Whenever he bought the land, it was $400 an acre. Dude, now it's over fucking $15,000 to $20,000 an acre. Like, fuck me.
Yeah, property tax is theft, and that's one of the reasons why I will only move to a state that still honors, our disabled veterans. No property tax.
It's Oklahoma, son. Get over
here. And that's what. And so I'm in that position right now here in Florida, which helps. But yes, that's why the next place would be Oklahoma.
But it's
and even that can change, right? Even that, if you look at if Oklahoma or Florida, whatever, if a state offering it now goes, the Democrats get control of it and stuff, that will go. As soon as they decide, hey, okay, it's time for us to start getting, taking back, or not taking back, but acquiring some land, forcing some people out, that will go. And then the taxes. Can you imagine? Like, oh, I bought the house for $300,000. Oh, now today they appraise it at $600,000. And also, guess what? I'm sorry, but no more disabled veteran, exemption, bro. Like, if that was to happen right now, we would be foreclosing because we cannot afford it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a subjective number that oh, wait a minute, 25,000, 2,500 or 25,000 an acre isn't he can still afford that? Okay, well let's jack it up a little bit more.
Hey,
and then future business owners are facing the same stuff.
Smitty, is Alabama near you?
Alabama's 2 states away.
How is Alabama as far as like taxes go? Because I know that they have low taxes.
So let's just put it this way. Yeah, fuck Alabama, dude. Fuck Alabama. If you really want to experience some like third world fucking racism and like some backwoods ass fucking shit, I don't have a good taste in my mouth for that state. Like,
is that like the state where once you cross the border you start hearing banjos and fucking 16 people riding on a fucking an 1800s car?
Yeah, that and like I'm mixed enough to where like I can pass through and that they won't fuck with me. But like anyone like on my mom's side of the family who's not as mixed as I am, like we've always had issues with Alabama. And
so let's put it this way: if you're on a road trip, do not stop in Mobile. Make sure you have enough gas to make it straight on through that shit because no way.
It's just too many.
I guess Alabama's between the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama's like the only state you won't catch me in because of like the experiences I had every time I went down there.
You guys interested in moving to Wyoming and starting the Tea Party compound?
My dude, we're doing that in Oklahoma because if shit happens, no one's coming here to fight any fucking major battles or anything.
Why? What's not going on in Oklahoma that we should be aware of?
Nothing's going on in Oklahoma.
Exactly. Hey, these are private conversations. We don't need to let the entire world know what's going on.
Yeah, so the entire world knows as of now we're going to Wyoming.
Right, we're going to Wyoming, and nobody goes to Oklahoma.
Yeah, that and like I'm not prepared for Wyoming winters, bro. Like, not prepared.
Let's do the
compounds would be cheaper out here. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do the Pim Tool thing and like fucking bring a mob of people with us.
Dude, honestly, so I've had this conversation before, and there's a neighborhood out in Bell that is in a ravine. There's only one way in, one way out, and they have like their own. This is gonna sound really weird to a lot of people, but just for some context, where they are, it's probably an hour for police help or anything like that.
So they have community police.
Yeah, so like they have like a guard shack.
Yeah.
And people from the community arm the guard shack daily, and you will sign in before you go into their fucking neighborhood.
Yep.
Even if you need to turn around. Yeah, even if you just need to go in and turn around, they're like, no, sign in. What's your license? Give me your license, drive. And you're like, or what are you going to do? They're like, we're not going to let you pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? The police officers are probably fucking chill with it too.
No, the police officers are the ones. So they ended up shooting a couple of guys because, more context, where I live, it's basically the fucking Wild West. I live on a giant fucking Indian reservation. So they were like, hey, thank you for doing our job, and like praised the people. Like, gave them pats on the back for keeping their community safe against shitheads. So
yeah. You want to share your story that happened last week?
God damn, yeah. So I'm sitting there having a conversation with Pander, just chilling. Some dude walks in. It doesn't matter how he looked. Everyone in this town has kind of a rough edge to him. So anyways, he comes in, sits down with me. We start going through the interview process. Find out I can't get him the job. I can't place him anywhere because he's literally worked at the majority of the places already. So I was like, listen, dude, I can't help you. There's nothing more. Dude ended up fucking getting mad. Ended up pulling a knife. I pulled my 10mm. I carry it everywhere with me, even to my fucking office. Dude left, which was the natural course of things. And just so before everyone is like, why didn't you shoot the guy? So if I was to shoot, I would have been shooting into an active highway. Like one of the very few busy roads in my fucking town. So we're like in between these Fort Smith and Fayetteville. So it's a big hub. There's a lot of people that drive through. I didn't want to take the chance of plugging this guy and then hitting a mom that was going to pick up her kid from summer camp or some crazy shit.
And as soon as he saw the firearm, it de-escalated very quickly.
Yeah, he was like, fuck this.
Right.
So anyways, he gets out into the town. Just a little bit like, our town's very small. It's not very, like, the school isn't very far away from my office. So when I call the cops, and I found this out earlier, or after the fact, they responded so fast because they were scared about him going to the school or being near it. They found him in town. There was an altercation. He tried bringing a knife to a gunfight, took 6 rounds, died.
So he's going to be on police activity on YouTube, probably.
Yeah.
So he engaged the officers with a knife, and they took care of business.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, just goes to show, boys and girls, carry, no matter where you are. If your company has like my company, they're not cool with me having my gun on me. But I'm cool with me having my gun on me because I'm going home to my family. That's how that works at the end of the day. I did play it down to my superiors. I was like, the only reason why it was on me is because I was literally walking into the office and sitting my stuff down and forgot that it was there. Cool. It normally never comes into the office. It normally stays in the truck, and my boss verified my story for me. So we lucked out. But still, scary shit, dude.
Yeah.
And like, I know I said he was rough looking, but he was never. There was no scary vibes from him. Like, I was never worried about telling this guy he couldn't get hired, or never did I think he was going to act like that.
Do these places tell you why he didn't work out?
Well, he's a
junkie?
Job hopping.
Yeah.
He can't keep a job. No one's going to take him. So
especially when he has experience or not experience, but when he has experience with a lot of these companies that you staff, they all kind of already know him, and you're not going to be able to put him into a position because he's already abused the system, basically, right?
Well, that and like, why would I mean, it's my reputation if I staff a bad worker,
Yeah.
So why would I put a piece of shit in a good job whenever I can hire someone who will actually do it and show up?
Right.
But so always carry a gun on you, boys and girls, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing, who you're with. You never know when you're gonna fucking need it. And I'm a fucking 6'3", well-built male. What if I was a 5'5", petite, short female? If he was willing to tango with me, he would have been willing to tango with anyone smaller than me. And that's scary, dude. That could have been my wife. That could have been someone's daughter. Like, a lot of the positions in my company are filled by females. Not a very male-heavy position. So Luckily, he picked my office where it's only dudes that work. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, and again, that just goes to show, like, our freedom to carry, to protect ourselves, like, again, laws, all these laws, and then wanting to put more firearm legislation in and everything else. I mean, that only affects law-abiding citizens. When you get criminals who don't give a shit, they are criminals because they do not follow the law. So there's no that argument has always been. It's always astounded me how people like fall for that argument or come around to agreeing with that argument, and it's like, guys, you're dumb. Like you don't get it. Like, okay, are you a criminal? Then why should you not be able to protect yourself?
And then people are like, well, just learn a martial art. Motherfucker, I know jiu-jitsu. I've been a jiu-jitsu practitioner since I was a fucking a young teenager, like 13, 14. All throughout my military career, I did jiu-jitsu for fucking to stay in shape. It was fun. I did Army combatives.
Yes, sir.
I can be the most well-trained badass on the earth, but he gets one. Yeah. But let's say I didn't have my gun, and he comes at me, and he just gets a lucky fucking thrust. It doesn't matter what I know, I'm done. Yeah. Same thing with like even if it was fist to fist.
When I come at you, I'm gonna have to have Tiller fucking hold your legs.
It's like even if it was fist to fist, you hit me once in the face, you get one good shot in and you knock me out, I'm defenseless against you.
Yeah.
I don't want it to come to the close-up altercation, because it doesn't matter what I know. Right. It gets squirrely in fight.
Right, and it should not be everyone's responsibility to wait for it to de-escalate on its own, right? If it's escalated to a point where you are threatened, then you have the right to defend yourself. It's again, I mean, these arguments they're nonsensical, man. And if you can get somebody into a rational or logical debate, then it falls apart. But and that's what breaks my heart about like all the school shootings and everything else is they use all of these different events and they use tragedy to make an emotional argument to the public, because that they know that's if they had a rational argument, then they would be presenting that, but they don't. So they have to rely on an emotional argument and plead the emotional case to mothers, fathers, to the public, and it's sad, man.
And the only reason why they don't do it to cars is because of the economic boom that they create for us. Guns don't really produce once they're created, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's easy to just be like, ban it, we don't need them. What purpose do they have in society? Well, the purpose is to keep me safe and my family safe. So, I'm not.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
but at the end of the so at the end of the day, just be fucking prepared. And just know, you can be a professional boxer, you can be the best there fucking ever was. You may wake up one morning and trip on a fucking shoelace and come in contact with some dude's fist and never wake up again. So.
Yeah, and for everybody out there, unconscious, losing consciousness in front of an enemy or in front of a combatant equals death.
Yep. Wait, I think there's a standing challenge with Smitty right now. Do you remember this, Panda?
What's that?
2 weeks ago when we were talking about Mike Tyson's ulcer, Panda threw out a challenge that if anyone wanted to come knock him out.
Knock me out?
No, Smitty.
Oh, the body shot. Yeah, I want to feel a body shot.
Yeah, he wants to get knocked out with a body shot.
By a body shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone that can actually do it, let's set up the date.
You gotta subscribe. You have to subscribe to our Discord channel, and we'll properly vet you, and then and then we'll make it happen once we get the studio set up.
What if Joe Rogan?
We don't even need the fucking studio, dude. I'll come to wherever you are with a camera.
I'm gonna come with the camera to film while you're unconscious, bro. But what if Joe Rogan hit us up, bro, and he was like, "I'll kick Smitty." Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the key, Smitty.
Dude, I would pay Joe Rogan to touch me.
Right, but you'll do it, but you'll do it on his podcast, though. All right, and make sure you give us a shout out on the. Make sure you give Tea Party Media a shout out on the podcast.
We're gonna be Tim Pool 2.2, bro.
Hey.
So many famous people from Joe Rogan. He's the kingmaker.
And I'm gonna tell him, I'll be like, yo, bro, if you don't do it on the first try, you don't get a second chance. Like,
and if I'm still alive, I get to fucking hit you right back.
Yeah, with a fucking sledgehammer.
You know?
Yeah. But that's an important point. I think, people see TV, they see fights and stuff on TV and everything like that. But and I think through a large population, like whenever they think of a fight, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, when a guy gets knocked out, like things kind of, everything just comes to a stop. And yeah, that may be the case, but if you are unconscious, you are at their mercy. And that's and Smitty, you can attest to this. We were taught, in the military, we were taught like unconsciousness equals death.
Yep. 100%.
And that's a real thing. That is a real thing. And if that's what you want to rely on, you want to rely on your two hands and whatever kind of watching UFC every other month, you want to rely on that experience, or then okay. But for me, I will have the tools that are available for me, to aid in protecting myself and my own.
Who's that? What's that Sutherland dude? What's his first name? MMA fighter. Popular right now.
Sutherland.
What's his first name?
Louis Sutherland?
No, he's like the right wing, or people are giving him shit for being right wing and all this other shit. He's the one who hit Nico, beat the fuck out of him. Let me pull him up real
Sean
quick.
Strickland you're talking about.
Strickland, sorry. So Sean Strickland. Llama, if you can, pull up the video of him dealing with a guy who is hiding from the cops behind his truck in his driveway. Because Strickland, fucking pro MMA fucking fighter, could probably beat anyone in his neighborhood to death with his bare hands. Comes out with a pistol in his hand. Because that's a more effective fucking tool than his fist.
Exactly.
And this is a guy who's trained and does this for a living to tear you apart, comes out with a pistol. Whatever.
I'll put it on. Go into my life.
And another way to look at it, also kind of like in the situation that you were in, Smitty, right? As soon as you pulled your 10 mil, like I think the key word was de-escalating or de-escalation, right? As soon as you pulled that out, he retreated. He no longer wanted to have anything to do with that. There's also something to be said about having the right tools. Now, I don't want to necessarily. If you pull it, you should have every intention of using it, and whatever. However, it's also like in the video that you're about to show, right? It kept control of the situation. If he decided to try to restrain him using physical ability, then it may have taken a lot more violence to control the situation than what the pistol, did, right? It kept the level of violence low and kept the situation at bay. And, that's something that people, they just think of, oh, gun equals death and, whatever. Not necessarily, right?
In my situation, it would have very much have been death if he would have closed any more distance.
You guys want to play it?
Yes, play it.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, dude, it doesn't matter how badass you are. It's have a fucking gun or some kind of fucking equalizer on you that's gonna make people treat you the way you want to be treated. So,
Absolutely.
Hey, did you guys see the new video from James O'Keefe?
the Disney one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened. What happened with it?
You want me to play it?
Yeah, sure.
So do you want a brief little overview?
Yeah, so
Before you plays?
So you got the DEI thing going on. So James O'Keefe basically got the drop on a Disney worker or a Disney hiring agent or whoever. And they were basically like, listen, if you're white, if you look white, you're not getting the job.
Yeah, so he doesn't hire people. He is the guy who sits down and does the negotiating for the TV shows and what people get paid. But he has close ties and friends who are HR advisors. And they came to him and told him, like, hey, dude, you're not the right color. You're not going to get the promotion.
Oh, so he's like a staffer?
Yeah, but he didn't come out and, like, tell people because of that. He was okay with it. He's on the Disney team in the payroll. Right. He was like, okay. But he was like, they're doing this to other people, too. If you're white or not the minority in the room, you're not getting the position.
Oh, wow.
How that played. So pretty much all he did was confirm everything that we already think Disney has been doing. So,
right. Yeah, the new Star Wars, the gayest Star Wars ever.
Oh, and now she's on the backtrack, dude. She's like, yeah, I think this is it might be queer, but it's not queer with a capital Q. And everyone's like, what the fuck what does that mean? Like,
lowercase q.
Bro, it's like, man, if I could go back in time, I would prevent the acquisition of Lucas. Was it Lucasfilms?
Yeah, who do we have to shoot though? Would we have to shoot Lucas, or would we have to shoot the execs at Disney?
All of them. We'd have to shoot everybody in the room. I don't know, man. I look at, it's like, man, this is why, dude, there's no creativity anymore, man. There's no, like, I look on TV and there's nothing good. There's nothing.
No, there's creativity out there. It's just in the form of bad ideas.
Well, yeah, there is right. Yes, yes, you are correct. But I would push back a little bit on that. No, they're taking things that already exist and building off of them in their queer ways, right?
And then they're turning it gay, yeah, which is.
But there's no, like, there's no original thought. There's no, I don't know, man.
Was there ever, like, this is a talk me and my friends get into because we read a bunch of books, comics, and they turn into movies and TV series, and it's just like, I don't think there's a whole lot of room for original thought right now. Like, the same kind of story, like the most popular story archetype is, of course, you know, the whole, you find the protagonist, you know, you go through that whole step-by-step process. Like, that's the best way to make a story, and it's been that way for 1,000 years. Are we just reskinning shit that we've told each other since we've been sitting around campfires? Like,
I think part of the problem is, especially, and I'll say, like, in like my generation, right, is that we're holding on to, like, we're like clinging to what I guess we consider the classics now. Like, we're clinging to things from the 80s and 90s. We're clinging to those characters, to those, you know, to those storylines, right? And
they're more real.
Right, they're more real, and it's like what you're seeing today is they're just taking those and they're morphing them, instead of creating new shit. Like the whole Disney bullshit with making the live action, you know, all the live action remakes, like The Lion King and The Little Mermaid and stuff, and you see the different ways that they're adding their, you know, their LGBTQ agenda into it, and it's just, God, man, it's like, create new shit. Like, stop messing with the old shit.
To be fair, like, Disney was, like, The Lion King, Snow White, all those stories, those were all someone else's nursery rhyme. Like, The Little Mermaid is a nursery rhyme.
Correct, but they were
way
the
back
first
in the day.
The film, though. It was the first time that those types of stories, that those stories were really brought to film.
Yeah, but I would also say, like, the author would probably be really pissed that Ariel survives at the end of that movie because of the bastardization of her work.
Right.
So, like me, dude, like, I don't mind retelling of stories. I do mind the bastardization of them, though.
Let me ask you a question, Smitty. Would you mind if someone came up with, like, what ended up becoming popular movies about, like, Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft? Because there are,
down for that.
See, there are a couple of movies, but they're not really popular, and they definitely haven't done them recently, especially
so, like,
about Cthulhu.
Yeah, so let's take a Disney movie, for example, like, just what we're already talking about. Let's say they take the animated Lion King, and they're going to make a new Lion King. What I would want to see is a one-to-one version as close to the original as possible. Right. I don't want to see characters queerified or color changes. Just give me the original story that I know and I love, that's updated with better graphics and better sound, better quality.
That's good for, like, your kids and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. And same thing with older movies. Like,
if they came out with a new Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, but doing it exactly the way you said, that would be amazing.
Exactly, with updated shit, and the scenes are almost one-to-one scenes. Well, guess what? Everyone loved the originals. They would probably love a reskinned, not rebooted, reskinned retelling of the original story.
Yep.
Like almost like a remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've seen remasters and they can only do so much. But this would take it to the next fucking level. This would have all the 2024 technology, the 2024 actors, like, same story.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it would do well. If they did that to Lord of the Rings today, I would be in the movie theater right now, cheering on whoever the new Sam is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like, and that was something that killed me with the Lord of the Rings, man. Right? Because I was big. Like, I've read that series twice. I started it when I was in sixth grade, all 4 books, and then I finished them. I finished the books like a year before the first movie was coming out. Right, so it was like, man, it was like perfect timing for the cinematic to come out, And then I remember going and seeing it, and I was so disappointed. I mean, it was okay. It was all right. You know what I mean? And I was disappointed to a degree, but then when I was the most disappointed was when they came out with The Hobbit, the very first book of the whole freaking story, and they made
you told me you said this last time.
3 freaking movies about it. And I was like, are you kidding me? You could have made 9 movies off the freaking whole the trilogy. And, oh man, you know what I mean? So
they could have done a better 1-to-1, is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
I got a good one. What if they did a Titanic Part 2, but instead of them remastering the Titanic, they talk about like how the Federal Reserve was like switching fucking ships, and they're like, fucking John Astor's on that ship, you need to sink it. but then the rest of the movie is remastered. Then it goes back to Jack and Rose.
As long as I still get to see Rose's tits,
yeah, and it's gonna be the Spanish bitch that played in Dusk Till Dawn. What's her name?
No, what about that one Spanish bitch who's running for the Missouri Commissioner of State or whatever? Have y'all seen her?
No, Salma Hayek.
Who, dude?
All right, who's the chick that's running for what?
She's fuck. Okay, 1 second.
And as long as Rose is actually a female.
It has to be a Latina female, though.
Okay,
it's a Latino female.
As long as.
Listen, dude, I would not mind if they culturally appropriated Rose as a Latina.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
I gotta get on my Twitter. She's all over my Twitter. People are hating on her so much right now.
Wait.
She's the one who has all the campaign commercials that's like, I ain't gonna be no faggot.
Oh, is she the one who came out with a music video?
Do what?
Is she the one who came out with a music video?
And she has, like, it shows her in a picture of, like, a plate carrier holding an AR at the very end of all of her stuff that comes out.
Yeah, I thought we talked about her I think we mentioned her in the last, in the last podcast. Oh, what's her name?
Oh, dude, but totally would.
Mm-hmm.
All I gotta say, that's who we need to get to play that chick in your movie, dude. I'm looking her up right now.
And Tiller's gonna be Jack.
No. If this bitch is in the movie, I get to be in the movie.
Wait, Tiller is Rose's husband.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm a woman too. Women and children only. I'm a woman too.
What?
You don't remember that scene when he was like, I have a baby?
Yeah. What were you saying, Panda?
Smitty, look, we can't stretch the movie too far. If you were in the movie, you'd be part of the help.
No, the 4 of us, no. The 4 of us are the fucking orchestra, bro. What?
They'd be like, yo, we need you to get these boats down for the white people. And I'd be like, fuck the white people.
Oh, damn.
Valenita Gomez.
Valenita
Gomez.
Let me look her up.
Yeah. She hardly speaks English is definitely her second language.
She's got a big forehead, bro. She's Salvadorian?
She may have a big forehead, but...
I guarantee you she's Salvadorian. I guarantee it. Where's she from?
Secretary of State is what she's running for right now.
Oh no, she's from Colombia. Ooh, spicy.
Oh, did you guys see? I saw somebody post on Twitter today that Donald Trump may have selected a vice president, and supposedly the vice president, whoever he selected, is going to be at the debate this Thursday.
Fuck yeah!
Is it Thursday or Friday? It's Thursday, isn't it? The debate.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
I want to say the 27th. Yeah, the 27th, Thursday. But what do you guys think about? Maybe it doesn't have to be live, but at least recording an episode. If you guys are going to be around, we could do. We could watch.
Let's do it.
I will definitely.
What time is it? What time is it?
It'll probably be like 6 or 8 o'clock. That's what they usually do the debates around.
I will. I'll clear everything, so that way
I'll be at work, but I will be on voice chat through my phone.
Yeah, I'll get everything ready.
I'll
be there for you.
I'll get the details of it, and we can put together a plan. Yeah.
Hey, so you guys heard it here first. We're gonna do a little episode. We're gonna try to do a little episode on that day, so you guys can tune in live. It'll be like a little bonus pop for you guys.
We're gonna live react to the 2024 presidential debate between Joseph Robinette Biden and Donald. What's his middle name?
Badass Trump.
Donald John Badass Trump Jr. Oh, not Jr. What the fuck did I say, Jr.? Donald Badass Trump. I don't know why I'm thinking Donald Trump Jr.
What do you guys think? You think if Biden doesn't perform well, you think they're going to try to replace him?
You want to know what I think? I think fucking Baron Biden is America's next fucking monarch.
Yeah, it's just go down. Yeah, we should
I'm sorry. Well,
Trump,
let's get
Trump
serious.
royal family.
What was your question again, Panda? I'm sorry.
If Biden performs poorly, do you think that the Democrats try to replace him?
Too late.
I mean, I think they're already trying to do that.
I think it's too late to replace him.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little too. You got what? You got 4 or 5 months till the election.
I was about to say 6 months until the end of the year, and
Exactly.
no one. I mean, the only person who's been getting out and like actually doing shit has been Hillary, and Michelle's been out a few times, but she's not doing any more public appearances than what she used to do in the past. So I don't think they would have had to campaign somebody a long time ago, or they're going to have to do a bait and switch with someone who already has a bunch of power, like Gavin Newsom on the left. But Gavin Newsom isn't even enough to fucking. They're gonna save Gavin for 2028.
Well, that's what I hear this out, bro. Because I think it's very weird that they're not, again, like they did last time. They're not putting any of their big players in, and I feel like that's like they know something bad's gonna happen, so they don't want to risk any of their big players by putting them out there.
Well, I think what it is, they know that they don't want to burn their big player against Trump right now. They want to burn their big player against Trump's successor. Yeah, whoever he's gonna, because he's gonna sit down and be like, I'm gonna put all my political weight behind one fucking person, and I'm gonna choose that person.
Right.
And that.
Yeah. And because if they don't focus on his successor, then they're just gonna have another 8 years of what they don't want, which is a Donald Trump.
Yep. So
it's more important.
They don't have, yes, because that's 12 years of Republican leadership back to back, and we've never had that before. They wouldn't let it happen. So I take that back. We did have 12 years of Republican leadership before.
but this was pre-World War II, we're talking.
Yeah, this would be totally unprecedented, and probably what it would take to actually pull this country back to where, whenever I die, I feel comfortable that the government's not going to fuck my kids out of their inheritance.
Fuck it then. We'll fucking make Ron Paul the fucking president, and then after Ron Paul dies, we'll just dig him up and we'll fucking put him back into the fucking chair, and then we'll say to him, Ron Paul, what do you think of this? And he won't say nothing, and we'll have to assume that as a no, and then we'll be like, okay.
That's the other thing, dude. I don't think a libertarian president or a candidate.
Ron Paul's not a libertarian. He's
not
Ron
anymore.
Paul.
Not anymore. But you know what I'm saying. And the only thing wrong about us fucking libertarians is that we are the people, the party of where the wild things go, and you cannot put us together and have us vote on one fucking person and choose one direction, because we're all, at the end of the day, we all want freedom. We all want to be left the fuck alone, and
you guys want to be left alone because you're all so weird.
And freedom just looks different to other people. So you can't
leave my weird stuff alone.
That's why, like, in my opinion, the Libertarian Party has never rose to power is because none of us want the same thing. We all want 1,000 different things, and we don't move in lockstep like the Republicans and the Democrats do together.
And not for nothing, they a lot of them self-sabotage too, because a lot of them don't believe in holding office.
Yep, and honestly,
like the guy that shows up naked. Wasn't there a guy that showed up naked to the Libertarian? Like that guy doesn't take it serious.
I don't see. Here's the thing: I don't keep up with the conference. The only reason why I call myself a libertarian is because that's what everyone calls me. Whenever they sit there and they pick my mind on how I feel about stuff, they're like, "Oh, you're very libertarian."
Well, if you ask the left wingers, they will call you right wing.
Yeah. Well, that's because the center has shifted so far over the since Obama that like you were mentioning earlier, if we were to go back 20 years ago, I wouldn't be a conservative compared to Republican standards today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would look at us and they'd be like, "You fucking Democrats."
Yeah, but speaking of the debate and not making public appearances, supposedly Joe Biden is now at Camp David, and he won't be leaving Camp David until the debate. So
yeah, he's over there getting that super soldier serum, so that way he can stand on stage for 2 hours.
They're pumping him fucking full of lead.
Dude, they have to.
They're pumping him full of mercury.
There's two things that's going to happen, in my opinion. One, have you guys seen that video of the guy in the full upper body mask where he looks just like a girl and you can't fucking tell the difference?
Yep, I just saw that today.
That shit is bullshit compared to what the CIA and the FBI have inside of their makeup department.
Bro, imagine if Donald Trump walked up to Joe Biden on some like Scooby-Doo shit. This is not a man. Boom. Whoa.
We need to say there could be two things.
And
then he says, "I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you fucking MAGA fucks."
Yeah, so like, this is just me putting my tinfoil hat on, so that they could do two things. They could pump him up with all I'm pretty sure they got stem cell research now that makes the stuff that we get from our doctors look like, bullshit. They're either going to knock him up with some kind of fucking miracle drug so that way he can debate for 2 hours, or they're just going to be like, "Hey, let's put this 18-year-old in this fucking bodysuit and send him out there."
Bro, maybe this is the way they get rid of Joe Biden. They pump him with all these drugs to get him all fucking Speedy Gonzalez, and then after the debates, he crashes so hard that he crashes 6 feet under, basically.
Yeah, and then we get Kamala Harris, and then they're like, "Shit, our golden boy died. We got to go straight to World War III so we don't have to have an election."
Yeah, fucking A. Listen,
which I think that's going to happen too.
My governor, Kathy Hochul, she was recently elected, but technically her first term in office as governor, she was not elected. She only became governor because Cuomo had the fucking Me Too shit, fucking nipple piercing governor.
Ah, damn. Yeah. Hey, so can I talk about something real quick?
No.
Okay, fuck off.
No, please. I said no, please, go ahead.
Too late, I'm already fucking off. No, I'm kidding. Can we... This is really going to upset you guys, but we got to get...
And that would be, I said that if the Latina woman who plays Rose in our Titanic remake, as long as she's a real woman.
Yep. With big titties.
Okay, dude, get this. Fucking Panda gets to play Jack on the new remake, on the 1-to-1 that we're doing of Titanic.
I want to be Jack.
Panda shows up to set. Fucking Blair White comes out.
Oh,
I'm your
God.
Rose, bitch.
Oh, God. Panda, you still playing Jack?
Them titties, though. He's drawing them titties pretty
Panda,
good.
You still playing Jack, Panda?
No, I'm not playing Jack.
Oh man, I want to be Jack's best friend, the guy who gets shot.
I'm the engineer down in the engine bay.
What?
There you go.
I'm the engineer in the engine bay.
You're the guy shoveling the coal into the fucking engines?
Yeah, that's
First
me.
to die. First to die.
At least be quick.
Where those things hit water, bro, those things explode.
Yep.
Everybody else has to
See,
drown. I'm just gonna
salty
get in.
So, I just want to give everyone a PSA. Blair White is not a woman. So if you're one of those dudes who's into conservative podcasting and you don't know Blair White's history, you have killed thousands of your children to a man whenever you spanked it. Just remember that. Killed all those babies for nothing, you fucking queer.
Listen, it's fine to be accepting of it personally, but just keep in mind that it's not a woman.
And dude, I know everyone's like, but she's the token tranny, and I'm just like, I'm not okay with that, because you can't okay one and then want to get rid of the rest. Like,
Yep.
That's also valid. You can't fucking have your cake and eat it too at the same time.
Yeah. So all the right wing conservatives that are supporting her just because they think he's a cool tranny, he's the fucking Trojan horse of them, in my opinion. You can't be okay with it. Can't be okay with it.
That's the desensitization.
Yep.
The Trojan horse with the Trojan.
With the Trojan.
What was the what was the Kardashian father's name? The first trans that went trans?
Bruce
Jenner.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Jenner. Oh, imagine. That would be fucking scary, bro.
Yeah, dude, if Bruce Jenner isn't a tranny, he'll be able to call me and tell me that he's not, within his own words.
Bro, I would still be scared of Bruce Willis as a tranny.
Do you know what? Okay, you missed the joke.
No,
Bruce Willis he can't talk right now. His brain bad. So.
My bad.
Did you hear about that?
What?
I think I saw something about it.
Yeah, so Bruce Willis is dying and his brain's deteriorating. So he signed over his likeliness to a movie studio. So they're gonna make movies of him in the future after he's dead. It's just gonna be Bruce Willis's fucking AI body running around using his voice, and he signed away all of his likeliness to be used like that. You know,
With the Die Hard 6.
yeah, no, they're legitimately going to be able to make one. I guarantee you, I would put $1,000 within the next 10 years there's a new Die Hard 6 and Bruce Willis's ghost is in it. So,
The Ghost of Willis.
because to me, that's what an AI generation would be. If it can talk like you, act like you, but it's not you, it's a ghost. So,
Yeah. Well, there's not going to be actors anymore anyways. Give it a couple more years, man. It's all going to be AI.
well, yeah, that's what the Actors Guild was trying to slow down. That was one of the big reasons they had that. It wasn't just because of the writers, or the Writers Guild. It wasn't just because the writers are going to be replaced. If you replace the writers, they're going to come for the acting positions too.
And at this point, I almost don't have a problem with them replacing actors.
I think they should.
Yeah, I mean, actors, they it seems like they become a bigger pain in the ass than, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of disappointment, because I look at all these great movies that I used to like and all these actors that, I used to follow and stuff, and then now you freaking listen to them talk, and it's like, you are destructive, to your fan base, bro.
Yeah, who's the one that was up there in New York during the Trump trial?
Oh, De Niro.
De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
One of my favorite fucking actors, man.
Yep.
Listen,
Actors, not person.
Let me give you a quote from a De Niro movie, The Bronx Tale. Now, you like Mickey Mantle? That's good. What is Mickey Mantle ever gonna fucking do for you? Is he gonna pay your rent? Mickey Mantle don't give a fuck about you. You never want to meet your fucking heroes.
Yeah.
He's talking about himself.
Yeah, he's a piece of garbage, man. And that's why I wouldn't have a problem with replacing actors with AI, because then it's like, okay, well, then I can just enjoy the movie for the movie, and I don't have to worry about being disappointed later by these freaking communist, rich-ass people who are out of touch with the rest of society.
And we could get rid of all these fucking dumb award shows like the fucking Met Gala and the fucking the Oscars and the Grammys. I mean, not for nothing, when Will Smith slapped fucking Chris Rock, that was pretty funny. I mean, it was pretty sad, but it was also funny at the same time that it came down to that. But we could do away with those things.
Yep.
I think that shit was.
I think it was funny because of how pathetic it was for Will Smith to have done it.
I think it was half and half. Like,
listen, I ain't mad at Chris Rock for not punching him back.
I'm not saying it was staged.
Okay, but that's another thing. That's another reason why we should get rid of these things, because it's just staging dumb bullshit to keep people's minds occupied on dumb shit.
I'm not saying it was like 100% staged. I'm saying some of it could have been real, but like, I can't trust it. I can't with 100% certainty say that was a true emotion from Will Smith.
No, I mean, I can say it wasn't. I say it was a reaction to Jada, because if you watch the video, like at first when he says it, he laughs. Will Smith laughs, and then he happens to glance over at Jada, and Jada is giving him the death stare, and that's when he gets up and is like, "Oh shit, okay, I have to do something here," and I think the whole thing, it wasn't genuine emotion. It was all a reaction to his wife.
I agree with that.
In my humble opinion.
But at the same time, like, with all of the knowledge of everything that she's done to him...
Right.
Yeah, but think about it in his mind. Think about it in his mind. He's like, listen, I think I'm an inferior man because my wife is out here cheating on me. Now my wife is being called out and I'm not doing nothing. And I just looked at my wife and now she's looking at me sideways with a grin on her face, and then you ain't even smiling. Now I gotta say something because I'm a bitch.
Yeah. Dude, and she ain't nothing compared to him. If I was Willie, I'd be like, yo, bitch, we're done. And I'd be like doing what fucking Kanye's doing, getting someone twice as hot as the last one, and let's not her around.
Let's not forget, it's not like Chris Rock was up there and was like, yo, this bitch Jada Pinkett Smith, she fucking other niggas. No, I'm sorry for saying, maybe I shouldn't say that word on fucking Rumble. But it's like
we gonna get your shit.
All he said was she got alopecia.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's not even that serious. She's a bald chick. Like, it's not that serious.
It's like if someone made fun of me for having fucking Graves' disease. I'd be like, yeah.
Bro, that's like someone making fun of you for having gray hair.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
can you imagine how different it would have been if instead of him getting up, right, when he was first like, if he would have just been like, bro, she has alopecia. Can you imagine how fucked up Chris would have felt? Like,
not at all.
Shit. You don't think?
Dude, that's a comedian's job, and Chris Rock is one of the best. He would not feel.
Yo, you guys.
Like, whenever I say my dumb shit and I'm joking around, I feel no remorse about what I'm saying.
Do you guys want to hear conspiracy?
What's that?
You want to hear conspiracy about that slap?
Go ahead.
So, when that slap happened, Pfizer was sponsoring that. I think it was the Grammys. It was, or whatever award show it was. Pfizer sponsored it, and Pfizer had just came out with a new drug for alopecia.
Oh.
Yup.
No way.
So go and listen. These are all confirmed facts. These are not like Saudi Prince was allegedly there. No, this thing was sponsored by Pfizer. There was commercials about this award show was sponsored by Pfizer and all that shit. And they had just came out 2 months prior with a drug for people for alopecia.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if you call that a conspiracy or just putting dots together.
So it's like an alopecia awareness campaign. What better way to bring alopecia awareness to the public than to have this huge spectacle at the Grammys?
Yup.
Oh, dude, that's good, man.
Yeah.
That is fucking good.
But like you were saying, bro, you thought it was staged. There you go.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. People are evil. Dude, people are just fucking evil.
And then what happened was Will almost forgot about the whole bit and was laughing, and Jada was looking at him, and that look was be like, "You know what your paycheck, dude?
Go get your paycheck."
And he was like, "Oh shit, I forgot. I gotta get up there and do my thing."
Yeah. Or the moment's gonna pass, and everyone's gonna be like, "Why'd you hit him out of nowhere?" Like. But yeah, dude, like, so staged shit, man, and people doing shit just to turn a profit. That kind of reminds me of, yeah. So let's go like way back in our history, like 1906, to some incubator babies. We're gonna talk about some. You want to talk about some conspiracies, Llama? So,
Wait. Could I just real quick? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go.
No, I was just gonna say that so Pfizer made this drug in August 4th, 2021. They started the trials. Then the slap happened in March 27th, 2022. And then a couple months later, they finally came out with their final trials, and they were approved later that year. Boom. Okay.
Dude.
I'm sorry. Babies, incubator babies.
Yep. So, huge leap in technology. There were no incubators for preemies back in those days. The guy who made it kind of seemingly... the guy that we have, Llama, the name, isn't the guy... He isn't the creator. He was the manager of the facility. He didn't create the first baby incubator. The first baby incubator preceded his by almost 15 years.
We're talking about Cooney, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was just one of the American guys who had an incubator. They had others over in France, all this other stuff back in those days. So the reason why I'm bringing this up and I'm saying people are evil, one of the big conspiracies behind it was you could purchase these babies from the incubator place. So what would happen...
So just so people know, the name of the individual we were referring to, his name is Martin A. Cooney. Couney.
So Martin running this place on Coney Island and everything, people they break down his financials. He wasn't a very rich man on his own. He didn't have a lot of means to start something up like this. But just to put a little bit more backstory on it, back in this time era, people were selling children. It was easy. You could go to the Catholic Church and you could buy a Native American child for $10, and you could take that child home. It wasn't adopt a kid by sending 25 cents a day to Africa. No, it was you sent the $10, you go pick up the fucking kid if you wanted to.
I got a field out back. I need a couple of these youngsters for.
Yeah, and God knows what these youngsters were used for. And it was white people buying native kids. What the fuck were they buying native kids for? They didn't like colored children. And a lot of them were killed and all this other shit. And this is all stuff that you can go and you can look up in the Vatican adoption records and the Catholic Church adoption records. I gave you some newspaper article link for them. But anyways, so if you could buy a kid for $10 from the Catholic Church, and this guy has 50 to 100 babies in these little machines at all times, and you're hiring wet nurses, legitimate wet nurses, because they didn't have a whole bunch of powdered milk back in that kind of day or anything like that. And then you had the medical staff on hand, and once they dove into his financials, it wasn't adding together. Ticket cost wasn't enough to feed all these kids, get all the medical attention that they needed. So then there was he had the idea of having a raffle, and he was selling, what was this kid's name? He's actually pretty fucking famous. Ernest. Love you, Zozo. He was only a month old, and he was raffled, put away, sold as a door prize. And then what other people started noticing was like there would be all these babies, and they would go like see the same baby every day, because you kind of build connections with these preemies. And they came back another day, and all the babies there were different babies. There were no babies there from the day before. But the owner, Martin, is flush with new cash. He can start buying new stuff, start fixing up the place, stuff he didn't have in the budget beforehand. So, and he was very tight-lipped about where those babies went. Like, he wouldn't tell anybody. Like, he wouldn't even tell people that their parents came and picked them up. So, not only did he do the 1909 World Fair and also have like a permanent location on Coney Island, he also traveled to a bunch of other World Fairs, even going overseas and taking these babies and coming back with babies that didn't look the same as the babies that came and went.
So just babies to give a little.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, so like if these babies would have went to Europe and came back from the World Tour or the World Fair, they would have grown up. He was coming back with younger babies. Like smaller babies. So that's how people were able to identify that he's not coming back with the same kids from Europe. Like, it's fucking crazy. And everyone's just like, oh no, it's okay, he was a hero.
Yeah, there's a lot of he is regarded as like a hero because the incubators basically that he were using ended up becoming like what the type of incubators that we use now.
Yeah. Well, they were the predecessors. The incubators we use now are way fucking better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if the guy sold a bunch of fucking babies, that's kind of fucking scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is at the same time in America where you can go and you can look up photos of mothers selling 4 children, inquire inside, and like kids getting on trains and getting off at train stops and being adopted at the train stop and taken home or put back on the train because the family there didn't want them.
Well, like, there's one person that is known to have lived to the ripe age of 96 and had a full life, and I believe they had a family too, and her name was Lucille Horn.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's another practice of baby farming that was really popular at the time too. So let's say you sent your kid to Martin. You were a family of means. You were going to pay for that child care. But what Martin could do, since you weren't, like, let's say you were a family in Arkansas sending your preemie baby to Coney Island to be put in this incubator, you're going to pay $500 a month or $100 a month so your baby can fucking live, or $100 a year, whatever it fucking is. Martin could just get rid of your baby. You would never know, and you would still continue to send him the money. And then you ask for your baby to come back home. Well, sorry, your baby was a preemie and died. Oh, you can't send the body back. But we took all your money.
You want I'll read the the Coney Island History Project wrote an article about him.
Yeah, and they think he may have done that or done some of that. And there's a lady in England. She killed like 1,500 kids that way. Babies. Just, send your baby to me, I'll take care of them. And then she would just kill the baby, and then the parents would continue to send money to her. And then she eventually got found out, but, 1,500 kids later, that's a shit ton of fucking people. You know what I'm saying?
There's evil, this just goes to show, man, that evil has no bounds, man. And it's been around forever. It just morphs.
Yep. So read that article, Llama.
Yes. Dr. Martin Arthur Coney saved the lives of thousands thousands of premature infants at his Coney Island baby incubator exhibit. It is hard to believe that incubators were not used or accepted by medical establishments until the 1930s. Cooney was forced to make his clinic into a sideshow exhibit. Although the exhibit was located in an amusement park, the atmosphere inside was solemn and professional. Cooney never charged parents a fee for the care he gave their infants. His clinic was financed strictly through entrance fees.
But you see, there's also stories of him charging parents. Like,
yeah,
this is one of those things where, like, whenever I did my research on it, I just went through the Seattle newspapers. That's where I found the story about Ernest. And this is written in 1906, like, the day after and the day of. So we don't get that weird spin history puts on shit. Like, this guy probably did evil.
Where they're trying to correct the narrative later, you know what I mean? They don't,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I can't say that this guy actually did the things I'm talking about, but I'm saying it'd be very easy for him to do so, and it was very common at that time.
So what would he do? He would C-section the woman and then put the baby into an incubator?
No, the woman would have the baby. So baby farming, if you want to get a bunch of free kids, what you do, and what they used to do back in these days, they would go to hospitals and they would find poor women who had to work 90% of the time and didn't have time to take care of a newborn. Because if she left work, the family would die, kind of situation. So they'd be like, hey, send us money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to commit, like, you didn't need the C-section. You just go find someone. And back in those days, they called preemies weaklings.
Yeah, but what do you need the incubator for if the baby's already born?
Keep it alive.
Yeah,
preemies die at a huge rate after birth.
Yeah, but you don't need an incubator for a newborn.
Yeah, to keep it alive, you do.
No.
If it's a preemie.
I mean, but you're saying that they just give regular birth, though.
Yeah, but you can still have regular birth and have a premature child.
Are you sure
when I say
that
regular birth, I mean like you're having the baby beforehand.
Are you sure he wasn't C-sectioning these chicks?
No, the C-section, I mean, they would have died.
No, C-sections existed for thousands of years, bro.
Yeah, but we didn't get it down until, I think it was like the 40s or 50s that we started doing them commercially in America. Let me look it up.
Bro, the C-section, named the cesarean section, is dated back to like the Roman era.
I understand it's dated back to the Roman era, but that doesn't mean people still practice stuff.
I don't know. I think maybe. Listen, I'm not like shooting. I'm not shooting anything down. I'm just saying. Was he might have been fucking C-sectioning them.
The first successful C-section in the United States was 1794, and it was super fucking rare. Most people wouldn't. They would just let the mother and the baby die together. It wasn't until the mid-1960s that we started practicing it in doctors' offices, where it became like a standard procedure. Like,
well, then again, this guy was doing it at amusement parks.
Yeah, or could have been.
I'm not questioning the whole thing. I'm just saying that it sounds like he was getting chicks that weren't ready to give birth, and they were like, "Listen, I'll just sell you my kid, and I want it now, so I'll C-section you and just take the kid and put it in an incubator, keep it alive, and then whatever."
So like, my community has a lot of premature birth, and it's because it's a poor area, and a lot of the mothers don't get the nutrients that they need, and they don't understand how to take care of themselves as a pregnant woman. So imagine how that was in 1903 if you were super poor. I feel like premature babies were way more common back then than they are now. See what I'm saying? So it'd be easier to find. I'm just saying there'd be like more premature babies out in the wild than there are today. You could probably find them in a city like New York.
Yeah, but they were also not dealing with as many chemicals as we deal with today.
That is true. I mean, he very well could have been. I just think this guy did some shady shit. I think he stole kids.
I'm not questioning that.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know if he butchered mothers, but I could see him selling children especially if you think that's what you have to do to get your creation out there that's going to save the world or whatever. So
he was the first to sell adrenochrome?
No. I think we've known about adrenochrome and DMT and all that shit for a long time. So
we knew it as long as we knew how to do the cesarean section. Ooh.
No!
The plot thickens. The Romans. It was the Romans.
Well, man, now we don't have to worry about incubator babies because they just
This is the typical guy chat talking about the fucking Romans again.
So the Romans, whenever I'm reading on their C-section, they actually had it in law that you could do it, but the mother already had to be dead. She had to be deceased.
Ah.
Before you were allowed to cut her open and pull the baby out. The first modern C-section was performed in 1940, but it wasn't popularized or put into like medical canon for like doctors across the nation until the mid 1960s.
Interesting. That was good.
So the first cesarean hysterectomy was performed in the United States to control bleeding after C-sections in 1881.
Isn't that like
survival rate? I don't fucking know, dude. So the survival rate, if you got a C-section before the 1960s, anyone want to take a guess?
37%.
22% survival rate.
Well, I guess that I win because fucking Panda didn't make a guess.
Yeah. So you didn't want to get a C-section back in the day, boys.
7%.
He's still wrong.
Whatever.
Alright, dudes. It is 8 o'clock. We've been going for a couple hours now. Are we gonna put a bow tie on this?
I think we should. It's 9 o'clock for us.
Yeah, so we'll definitely I'll look up the times and everything and figure out like the best way for us to do it, and I'll put the details about the debate.
Oh yes,
and
the live
about it, and we will send a notification out to all of our wonderful fans and followers. So
make sure to follow us on Facebook.
There you go. Yeah, a Tea Party.
We had a Twitter.
we had a Twitter. That's still in the works.
Listen, it's election season. I don't think they like Tea Party media.
Dude, there's some fucking assholes over here. Episode 39, Mandalay Bay, and it's all about the fucking Pyramid Massacre.
Bullshit.
I'm sending it to you right now, homie.
This is bullshit, dude.
I'm putting it in the show chat right now, so you can just fucking pull that up.
They better shout us the fuck out.
Look at that. Look at their fucking picture. It's even of the old man.
Guys, we live in a simulation. Alright?
We do. Dude, there's so much shit we talk about on here, and then I go watch my other podcast that I like to listen to, and then it's like them talking. They hit the same subjects, and I'm like, we're days ahead of you, bitches.
Bro, we're always ahead of Tim all the time.
Well, it's not that hard to be ahead of a retard. I mean, yeah.
But fucking Tiller loves to fucking pass Tim all of our topic conversations.
Right?
Yeah. Every single one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whenever you are dating a guy, you share a lot with him, so...
I guess so. You're right.
Yeah.
This is valid.
Kind of like how Panda gives everything to Blair.
Oh, stop it. You're ready. God damn.
Alright, hold on. Where's Sevastopol? Is the cluster warhead strike on a lively beach?
Alright,
fellas. Yeah, we didn't talk about any of that yet. Russia was attacked 3 separate times today.
Well, they attacked a beach with just beachgoers. No military. Dude, Ukraine wants to get fucking wiped off the fucking earth.
Well,
They already lost the fucking war.
Russia's already blamed those attacks on the U.S. and the UN, or the U.S. and NATO.
Ooh,
Hey,
it was on a beach in Crimea, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know where Sevastopol is, or however you say that name, but, so like what I was telling you earlier, I'm gonna tell everyone now, enjoy, turn off the news. You guys probably got 2 more weeks of this. Enjoy some of it. Take a little break, because we're probably gonna be fighting World War III soon. So,
but turn back on your devices Thursday night to listen to Tea Party Media, and on next Sunday for our next podcast. Do that, but in the meantime,
take a little
disconnect.
Break. Yeah, get some family time in.
Yeah.
Fucking kiss your asshole goodbye. If you haven't already served or a cripple or retarded, hug your kids, hug your wife, mom, dad, whatever you got. You're going to get fucking drafted. And this isn't going to be a fun one. This is going to be drones. It's going to be shit that I'm not even going to be able to mentally think about or prepare myself for because I haven't lived through it yet. So this is going to be a whole new fucking war. And one that is going to have elements of the old wars that we fought, but a lot of new. And that new is going to be fucking terrifying. So,
Rabbit's still in the fucking car. The other guy that was supposed to be here with.
Rabbit fucking dug a hole to the fucking center of the earth.
No, that dude is fucking planted into his car.
That motherfucker, dude.
All right, fellas. It's been enjoyable.
It's been good.
It's very good, very nice.
All right.
Turn the live off.
Next week.
All right, fellas. Everybody have a good night. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you for tuning in. And hope you enjoyed the show. Later.
Yeah.
All right, we're